Prem review. So it's been ages since the last Prem review because the fucking Queen died. And for some reason, we all have to pretend that, we're so sad about it. I mean, I'm going to do a video on this. I have never seen state-mandated grieving before. I've seen hysteria before, obviously. I've seen that. But I've never seen sort of state-mandated grieving. People are being arrested for protesting about the royal family and stuff. And it's just gross. And the football got stopped and everything's dog shit. It just, people think because I'm always down on America. I'm only down on America because the media landscape is so ridiculous. I'm more than aware that Britain is a ridiculous country with, and we do things in very stupid fashion. It's really crazy. Like I said, this North Korean style approach. Oh, your glorious leaders died. Please go out and grieve. And in fact, just on that note, I want to give a shout out to, of course, Celtic fans. And I'll tell you a little story before we start the Prem review. Okay, so when the Queen died, she died somewhat conveniently for folk during a midweek game. So it was the European games, and obviously Celtic are in Europe. They were clapping and cheering and singing songs because if you're of Celtic origin, especially if you're Irish, the British royal family, not your friend. They've done some terrible things. I know this is a surprise to people, all right? But at the end of the day, yeah, not everyone who lives on these glorious sceptred isles are gonna fucking feel sad about the Queen. And I'm very much, certainly not a royalist by any stretch of the imagination. We should have abolished the monarchy some time ago. I think living under some sort of form of feudalism is sort of pathetic for 2022. And I'm very much in the Celtic camp. And as everybody knows, you'll have heard me talk about the Huns and the enemy at Rangers to the Rangers fans in there. I've been up to Glasgow, many times. All my Castlemilk friends are very much Celtic fans. So, that's which way my bread's buttered. From a Welsh Catholic lineage, we were obviously oppressed in Wales because of the Protestants and everything. So, look, it's a thing. Anyway, not a big deal. So I was on board with the Celtic fans. They're out in Europe. They're all clapping and applauding and singing during a moment's silence. And it was on the news. And everyone's going, oh, Celtic fans are disgusting. Why won't they just cry about the Queen like everybody else, right? Even though they've got absolutely no reason to whatsoever. So they decided for the Scottish game, they were going to do a moment's applause. You can't get got if we do a moment's applause. You can't ruin a moment's silence. So the Celtic fans, what they decided to do was sing, if you hate the royal family, clap your hands. And I saw a clip of it. Oh, man. Because the best part is they're doing this, close-up of, everybody while they're singing this song.
Начинът, по който отдават почит и футболисти, и фенове, е под формата на ръкопляскания. Погребението на кралица Елизабет II е утре и ще може да гледате цялата церемония в ефира на BTV след 12 часа.
And obviously, they don't stop for the full duration of the minute's applause, which is just fucking fantastic. Hit the royal family, clap your hands! Right, so that was fantastic. Oh, and then they unfurled a banner as well that said, if you hit the royal family, clap your hands, because Celtic fans come prepared, don't they? So anyway, Prem review. Queen died, fucked up the football. There was no football for what felt like ages. But just before the Queen died, something else happened, and let's start just by talking about that. Thomas Tuchel got sacked at Chelsea. Crazy shit. We'll start with that. The sacking of Thomas Tuchel. I mean, listen, I said at the very start with all my season's predictions, Chelsea were looking brittle to me, that they didn't seem to have a very cohesive defensive unit. They had a lot of big names, but they weren't kind of a functional team. They were lacking a striker. And I said, the idea that Chelsea were going to get top four this season felt to be a bit of a stretch because they weren't convincing me out in the games. They went and they spent 265 million. And you go, well, it's going to take time to bet all those big names in, and they still haven't strengthened in some areas. areas I would, like, for example, I would have definitely been looking to spend a big chunk of change on getting a world-class 20 goal a season striker. Goal scorers are back. I know that sounds like a dumb thing to say, given we're talking about football, but I mean, Haaland's going to bang in 30 goals this season. The days of cruising by where your top scorer's on 18, if you want to be in the top 4, you're not going to get away with it. Like, all of those top 4 teams have, like, legitimate 20, 25, 30 goals a season, talent in the lineup. You think about Arsenal with Jesus. He's looking absolutely brilliant at number 9. City with Haaland. Obviously, Liverpool strengthened with Nunes, but they still got Salah there. Tottenham with Harry Kane. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get by without, like, a goal scorer or a fake goal scorer. You need that outlet, and Chelsea don't have it. And Aubameyang came in. That's a fucking wild one. Like, Aubameyang joined. He obviously at Dortmund he used to play, under Tuchel. They're meant to have this like incredible relationship with each other and all of that shit. And then Aubameyang joins, and no Tuchel for you. Now, I read a wicked article, I think it was on The Athletic, talking about all of this stuff, and I won't get too much into that here, but basically, apparently, the reason Thomas Tuchel and the owners, were having problems was the owners were super, super happy to back Thomas Tuchel, but it came with this expectation he was going to do all this extra stuff related to recruitment and all of this, and basically, they put so much on his plate that he started to clash with them. The results weren't going the right way. Some people say because he wasn't being able to be as dedicated or as focused to the training because of all these additional duties that were now being, placed at his doorstep. And as a result, I watched that Zagreb game. Chelsea were fucking poor, man. They were like really, really bad. And it was just the last straw. Something had to give. Apparently, Tuchel didn't know it was coming, got absolutely shit-canned and blindsided, and he put a statement out it took him a week or two to even address it, said it was the most disappointing moment of his career. Now, what do I think about the sacking? Look, Chelsea had problems. They weren't getting the top 4 this season, in my opinion, if they'd maintained the status quo. It's still too early to sack a manager like Tuchel, It was something like 99 days. 99 days into the fucking job, And it's like, Chelsea just do this. Like, they bring in managers. They don't give them any time to enact a vision. You get, 1 season, 2 seasons done, and it's been that way ever since Mourinho left. It's not good for a club. You're not going to have continuity. Every time a manager comes in, he's going to want to play a different way. He's want to get his own players in. He's going to want to kick players out. It's going to disrupt the dressing room. So, was it 99 days? Oh, no, 99 games. Sorry, my bad. Not 99 days. I meant games. So, 99 games, not a lot of time. That's 2 and a bit seasons. It's just crazy. So, I don't know. I don't know why you bring Tuchel in and then back him to the tune of 260 million and then shit can him. Now, look, there were people out there that they could have recruited. I was very surprised that it wasn't Pochettino. Very surprised it wasn't Zidane. They went and got Graham Potter. And obviously the other thing we've been doing on this show is talking about how fucking Graham Potter is probably the most underrated manager in the Premier League right now. And Graham Potter, getting picked up was fucking crazy. I really thought they would have got Zidane or Pochettino or someone like that, big European name. The fact that they went to Brighton and got Graham Potter, I was pleasantly surprised by it, and it's good to see Potter kind of getting that recognition alongside some of the biggest names. What he's done at Brighton, you have to understand that Brighton are in the top 4 right now in the Premier League after 6-7 games. They're playing good football, they're good value for it, and they sold players. They allegedly sold their best players, and Graham Potter has them playing attractive football. It's not like a Bolton type system where you kick your opponents off the park and you're full-blooded and you're committed. No, it's attractive, good football, particularly on the counter-attack, particularly from set plays, very well organised. That's the sign of a good manager for me, and I've been saying it for a long, long time. Graham Potter's legit, he's mustard. It's a shame Brighton don't get to have this season with him in charge, because who knows where it would have ended up. But Graham Potter, for me, getting a chance at the big job. I just hope it hasn't come too soon, because Chelsea, there ain't many chalices more fucking poisoned than that. You're probably talking the Chelsea job, or the England job. And that's that. You take either of those two jobs, like in world football, generally only bad things can come of it. So it could be that it actually hinders him, but I think it's going to go well. I think actually Potter is going to come in, he's going to immediately bridge the gaps, he's going to fix a lot of the issues, because as I said, their defensive unit is a fucking shambles. They are bad on set plays defensively, no real outlets going forward. Keep in mind, obviously Graham Potter sort of had to make do without that 30-goal striker as well. He gets loads of value from his midfield, which is where Chelsea should be theoretically their strongest. With the 260 million injection, at least he's coming in at a time when new players are coming in, and that could sort of free him up to try some new things, try some new ideas with playing staff that are receptive to it. So I think Graham Potter, I'm very happy with the appointment. I think if you're a Chelsea fan and you're feeling underwhelmed by this, you haven't been paying attention to the Premier League the last few seasons. I still saw a lot of people wanting Pochettino. I mean, listen, you can't get shit done with PSG? I don't know. Maybe you're a bit of a paper tiger. We'll wait and see. I think it's going to be good for Potter's career. Think it's going to be good for Chelsea. Still a bit perplexed as to why Tuchel went, and a lot of strangeness there that I'm sure is going to come out before the end of the year. So there you go. That was the big story coming into the games, and then obviously Queen dies. We're all on hiatus. We didn't even get a full fucking Prem calendar, last fucking weekend because the police were short-staffed because they had to stop people, morons, plebs queuing for miles to see the Queen. People on the BBC News, yeah, I queued 16 hours to see your coffin. Are you alright, mate? Why did Philip Schofield cut the line? Fuck me, the state of this country. So anyway, let's pick up the main talking points. First one I want to get into, Saturday, the Tottenham-Leicester game. Tottenham took on Leicester 6-2. Let's start with Rodgers. This guy, I'm pretty sure he's trying to get fired at this point. If you remember, Rodgers said all the same shit that Parker said when he was at Bournemouth. The board aren't backing me. We didn't recruit any players. Wah. They're playing like terrible fucking football from a defensive perspective. I mean, it's an absolute shambles at the back for Leicester right now. They're incapable of keeping a clean sheet. They're incapable of keeping it down to like just conceding 2 fucking goals, it feels like at the moment. And they got absolutely battered 6-2 by a rampant Tottenham. This is the Tottenham that's gone up to second in the league. Tottenham that haven't played particularly, like they haven't hit their stride in my opinion this season. This is the best they've looked all season, but they've scrambled and got points from losing positions, and now they're level on points with Man City after 7 games played. So Leicester, I mean, I don't know, like Rodgers has got to go at this point. I don't see how you can keep limping on with Rodgers. Rodgers doesn't inspire. Again, he's in the same spot Scott Parker was. He's not inspiring the troops. They lost Fofana at the back. I'm not saying that would have necessarily, it's not make or break for the season and not have him, but I did say you've got 3 real world-class quality players in the Leicester squad, Fofana being one of them, and if you lose him, Tielemans is going to be like, shit, maybe I should be taking that Arsenal job. Tielemans is gone at the end of the season no matter what happens. Maddison was left out of the England squad this time. He's going to be thinking, well, what the fuck have I got to do? Maddison's playing well at Leicester, was on the score sheet here in this 6-2 defeat again. Great finish, but Maddison not getting into the England squad is going to put pressure on him and light a fire under his ass to maybe get that move. Maybe get on the phone to Newcastle, get on the phone to Eddie Howe again and say, all right, look, I'll see you in fucking January. If that happens, Leicester are 100% relegated at that point. If you were to lose Tielemans and you were to lose Maddison, I don't know what's happened to Iheanacho. I don't know why he's not scoring goals anymore. Vardy is washed up. He is 35. He's not going to have a 20-goal season this season. This is sort of the beginning of the end for Vardy. Leicester have just rested on their laurels. They've not improved consistently, and they have an absolute fraud at the helm in the form of Brendan Rodgers. So, what's my proposed solution at this point? Rodgers should have been fired. He should have been fired. He shouldn't even have been in charge for the Tottenham game, in my opinion. You go out, you get Sean Dyche to come in. Sean Dyche still out there, doing nothing, just sat at home, eating gravel like some sort of bird, doing Dalek impressions. You get him, you bring him in, Leicester have a chance to stay up, get a bit of fight in him. We all want Sean Dyche back in the Prem. Leicester are donezo this season. They are easily, I think, the most shambolic team I've seen. And I've watched every Everton game, and I've watched, I think, all of the West Ham games as well. So I've seen some shit already this season. That's putting grey in my beard. Anyway, let's talk about Tottenham. First of all, people were saying, and I saw this on the Discord, you little cunts. You think I don't see? I'm always reading the Discord, especially the football channel, for your bad opinions. I saw people saying we should drop Son. All you have to do for Tottenham would be good is drop Son. How Son's still getting a game? What a fucking hat trick. 15 minutes off the bench. Son's been playing legit. He just hasn't been able to buy a goal. It happens sometimes. He was the Golden Boot winner last season. You're talking about fucking dropping him from the team. I knew he was always going to become good. People literally calling for Son to be out of the team because he's not scoring goals. Despite all the running he does, despite all the energy he puts in, despite how he creates space for everyone else on the team. Absolute madness. Can't believe anyone would have that fucking opinion. And then, what a hat-trick. I mean, one of the best hat-tricks you'll ever see. Really shows what an incredibly gifted player he is. There's a little bit of everything in these goals. A little bit of variety. These aren't the type of hat-tricks Haaland's going to score. There's goals from outside the box and everything. Really, really great to see him back, and he's got to stay in the team now. Maybe benching him because Conte is a savvy motherfucker. Maybe benching him was the motivation he needed. He did certainly go over to the bench and give them the emoji eyes and after he scored, and then 15 minutes, 3 goals, job done. Kane on the score sheet again. Dyer. What did I say about him? Right, I was wrong about Dele Alli. I thought Dele Alli could be saved. He's in the Turkish league now. There is no bigger testament to how if you ever find yourself, if you're playing in the Prem and then the next minute you're playing in the Turkish league, you're done. You're never coming back. It's over for you. It's rock bottom. It's Wings of Redemption levels of rock bottom. But here's the thing, Dele Alli, I thought could be saved. I was wrong. I thought he was a good shout to go to Everton. He couldn't get a game there. That should have really spelled the writing on the wall. I was a little bit disappointed Newcastle didn't make a punt for him. Fuck it. We certainly dodged a bullet there. But Dyer, I was definitely right about. Dyer should never have been stuck in the fucking doldrums. I don't know what was going on there, why he couldn't get into the team. He's a really, really solid defender. He's always going to pop up and put pressure on from set pieces. Another goal here, second of the season. Bentancur in the centre of the park. He's actually impressed me a lot. I was a bit underwhelmed with some of his games, but he's the glue that's making the Tottenham Hotspurs tick. And when they're on like this, when they can get that space, and Kulishevsky's doing his thing, and Kane and Son, and keep in mind they've still got Richarlison, who's coming on, got his goals in Europe, in the Champions League. I think his first ever Champions League goals. Spurs are looking really, really good. All my predictions coming true right now. I'm feeling Tottenham for the top 4. It's going to be a very exciting season up there because Tottenham are capable of spanking people. The other result, all a bit academic, really. Man City, they beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 3-0 without even really getting into top gear. I've said Man City don't look like the all-conquering team of previous years. I still think defensively they're a little bit suspect, but at the end of the day, there is goals in this team. They've got plus 17 on goal difference, and I'm telling you, it's so funny to see all the fucking Haaland doubters. Because here's the thing. I don't want City to win the league. Fuck City. Fuck their money. Fuck everyone who plays for them. Fuck 100 million for Jack Grealish. Fuck Grealish, right? So loads of reasons to get on top of City. Fuck them. But at the end of the day, you've got to appreciate quality football and quality players. And Haaland, man alive, he does it again. He had a couple of misses in this game, still popped in with a goal. He's top scorer in the Prem. He's banging them in. He's looking fucking great. He scored that demented fucking goal against Dortmund where he literally was he was about 10 foot in the air with his feet above his head and somehow scored a goal from across. The guy's a freak. The guy's a phenom. It's mad. And also, lovely, classy gesture, I've scored against Dortmund. You know, none of that. Good reception from the fans. And so, yeah, City looking really, really good. Wolverhampton, architects of their own downfall. Silly red card from Collins very early on. I think they played like 60 minutes with 10 men against City. That's the last thing you want. But the bottom line is, as I said, De Bruyne pulling the strings, Haaland getting the goals. I mean, this game was so wide open for them. Even Grealish got a goal, and even Grealish kind of looked good in this game. And he's trash. He's the most outrageously poor £100 million player I've ever seen. But whatever. Let's talk a little bit about Wolves. Obviously, Wolves had their striker that they signed. Literally in his first game, he's gone down with some, it looks like, I think it was cruciate ligaments, or was it his anterior ligament? Some ligament. So one of the bad ones, one of the injuries you don't want to get, likely to be out for the season. And so they had to go out and pick up somebody they could, outside of the transfer window, somebody in free agency. Now, they've ended up with Diego Costa. This whole thing's been a saga. So, first of all, Diego Costa, I think he'd gone into free agency from the Brazilian league. Because of that, he didn't get a work permit immediately. They had to appeal for it. Work permits are becoming a bit more stringent. And so they had to appeal for it. They were successful on appeal. Then the paperwork didn't get through in time for him to play. Then when he got there, he wasn't quite fit to get into the team in time for the City game. And honestly, we haven't seen a lot of Costa at the top flight of football. Now, keep in mind, he's only 33, but he plays such a mean, tough, physical fucking game. His body is going to be worn down. He's like a Mark Hughes type character used to be. Old Sparky. He hurts defenders when he plays against him. Like, usually in a game of football, strikers are worried about what defenders are going to do to them. If you're a defender and you see Diego Costa on the sheet, you're worried about what he's going to do to you. He's backing into you, elbows, gripping you, wrestling you, running past you. Now, the problem is, having watched his highlights from the Brazilian league, he's definitely lost his pace, and that's going to be a problem in the Prem. But in terms of having a target man, a focal point, and considering there was very limited options, they had to scramble to do this, I'm actually happy to see Diego Costa back in the Prem. I actually think as well, I think it's a good pickup for Wolves. I think he'll surprise people this season. He's certainly going to get a handful of goals this season, but I think he's going to give Wolves just a bit of an extra dimension in terms of hold-up play and being strong, and they definitely need that because Wolves are a much better team than where they are in the table right now. They're down to 16th after this result, and that's not reflective of the football they've played, the squad they've got. They are better than that. For me, they're better than a Southampton. For me, they're definitely better than a Villa. Certainly better than Bournemouth, who are above them right now in the table. They're going to climb up the league. It's just going to take time. They've had some tough games. Wolves will turn it around. They're going to be good. So, what were the other results that we had to talk about? Well, Everton, West Ham. Because I fucking cannot believe this result happened. I said Frank Lampard, first manager to get fired. He wasn't. In fact, he's somehow still got a job when Tuchel doesn't. Fuck me. What a world. I also said Everton are going to get relegated. They have got, what are they on now? 7 points or something? 7 points total? And, they're like 13th, I think. So here's the thing. Nah, they're still not the real deal. Everton beat a very, very, very poor West Ham. West Ham were dog shit in this game. I mean, I can't, tell you. They had no chances. They had nothing going forward. I guess we'll start there before we start banging on Fat Frank. Give Fat Frank a moment's reprieve. So, this just wasn't even typical of the West Ham we saw at the start of the season, where they were poor, but there was little sparks of life. Like, Fornals and Souček were non-existent. That's really bad. I don't know why Zuma still has a job. He looks cumbersome, but I'm just going to say it again. I'm repeating myself. When is fucking Declan Rice going to show he is a fucking world-class midfielder this season? Because he hasn't done it at club level. It's a disgrace, how bad he's played. You think about De Bruyne and how every time he gets the ball, there's creation. He gets his pass off, or he beats a player, or he fundamentally changes the game state every time he touches the ball. Can you say that about Rice? Can you bollocks? He is so ordinary right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Antonio, he just hasn't turned up this season. And it's a tragedy because overall, I would probably say Ben Rama's been West Ham's best player this season. And I think if you look at the BBC ratings, I think this will tell you everything you need to know. I think the highest rated player was Fabianski. Made some amazing fucking saves. And, like, if at the end of the day, if you're relying on your keeper to keep you in a fucking game against Everton, who are fucking dog shit, West Ham have got real problems. I think I had them, like, 5th or 6th in my Prem predictions. There's no fucking way on God's green earth. They've got to start getting some points and fucking kick up the table. Maybe they needed to strengthen a bit more. Maybe the money wasn't there. I'm at a loss, but Bowen, there you go. I mean, I'm talking about Antonio. Gotta finally say something about Bowen. Bowen was scoring for fun when West Ham had that run, when they vaguely flirted, but not really, but did, but not really, with a top 4 spot various points last season. Where's Bowen at this season? Where are his goals? Like, this is basically the problem. The team doesn't have goals in it, which is mad, because we're talking about a team with Antonio. We're talking about a team with Souček, you know, double figures from midfield. We're talking about a team with Bowen in it. We're talking about a team with Rice, who's meant to be contributing in some. Now, this is crazy. There's something very, very off with West Ham right now, and they're going to struggle this season. Then I don't even think they can finish in the top half now, even if they get a run of games together. Yeah, robbed against Chelsea, of course, but doesn't matter. You know, everyone's going to have that happen to them in the fucking Prem. Now, what have I been telling you about Everton? I don't think Everton are good. I still think they're going to struggle. I still think they're going to be down there come the end of the season. But, you know, they did strengthen in some key areas. It was Malpai that got a fucking goal for them this time around. I hate that little cunt, but whatever. But look, here's the key things. Cody coming in on loan is just a great signing. He's a really, really good player. Former Wolves captain. I don't know how he sort of fell out of favour over there, but he's a really good defender, and he's looked super solid. Added a bit of steel to Everton, which, man alive, they really, really fucking needed. Here's the crazy thing. Iwobi. I've said it almost every week on Prem Review. Iwobi is becoming a really good Premiership level box-to-box midfielder. Now, again, it's only last season. If you said that to my face, I'd have thought you were huffing paint, because there was no indication the player that Everton have got now ever existed. But Iwobi has been fucking incredible. Like, he's just been off the chain. Like, he has been Everton's best player overall this season, and he was the engine and the architect of this victory. Fantastic performance by him, man of the match, and everything else, you know, looked functional. They didn't have to do too much to beat West Ham. West Ham were diabolical, but this is a huge 3 points for Everton, especially given I still think they'll be down there. I still think Frank Lampard will get fired this season. Everton have just, they've been lucky, you know, draw with a toothless Liverpool. You know, if you watch that game, I don't even know how that game was goalless. Now this, you know, trust me, the chickens are coming home to roost at some point. The other game on the same day, Brentford-Arsenal. 3-0 to Arsenal. I did tell you, watch out for this Arsenal. They are playing like the old Arsenal. I think currently top of the table, I think. Did they go above City? Yeah, I think they did with this win. I think they got 18 points now. Yeah, because they had 15 before, so that'd be right. So, I mean, Arsenal, top of the fucking table, above City, above Spurs, above Brighton, above United, certainly above Chelsea and Liverpool. And I know they haven't really played some of the strong opponents. We'll know whether Arsenal are real or not. They got Tottenham next and Liverpool after that, I think, or it might be the other way around. But anyway, the next 2 games, Liverpool-Tottenham, that's going to separate some of the wheat from the chaff. Here's what I'll tell you. Against Brentford, just imperious. Brentford had a lot to celebrate. Ivan Toney got his call up to England. Obviously, they turned a corner, bounced back. This Arsenal is unplayable. This is like Invincible's Arsenal. This is like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. Quick, fast-paced, counter-attacking football, ball retention, ball possession, high productivity, shots on target, and now with Gabriel Jesus. Who knew he was this good at number 9? Like, for real, at City, you knew he was a good player, obviously. You knew he was a good striker. But as a number 9, he is absolutely destroying defenders. I mean, big, physical, like, putting himself about in the box, winning free kicks, winning penalties. He's just a nightmare. And, of course, he's chipping in with the goals. And there's goals everywhere in this team right now. Saliba popped up with a goal. Obviously, they all love him down there. They got that fucking song they sing to the tune of that tequila song. And Vieira, the Portuguese guy, Portuguese football, probably the most improved football league in world football at the moment, producing so many fantastic players that are getting exported out to other leagues. And Vieira hit an absolute peach against Brentford, and Brentford just couldn't do anything. They just couldn't get into the game. Arsenal just stifled them. You know, the best method of defense was a good attack, and they just had it. And listen, I've been critical of them in the past. I've got to say, Xhaka, now I understand the kind of integral part he plays in this team. I think he looked a bit of a donkey in past seasons, and he used to be a rube, a mark, a dupe, whatever you want to call him. You know, he used to get suckered into making stupid challenges all the time, stupid red cards every fucking season. You can't have that with your captain. But Xhaka actually, you know, his mentality's right now. He's not making those mistakes. He's actually looking good on the ball. He's a good distributing midfielder now, getting assists and the steal. Remember, the Arsenal Invincibles, the great Arsenal that used to play the incredible flowing counter-attacking football, you know, with Henry, Pires, Overmars, you know. Remember, it was built on a steel rod right through the team. Tony Adams at the back, Keown at the back, and of course Patrick Vieira, Vieira's namesake, in centre mid, along with Emmanuel Petit, right? Like, those guys put a fucking challenge in. You need that. It opens up everyone. And with Saka and Martinelli, and now obviously Vieira's getting in, really, really cool to see. Tierney was back. Arsenal fans say he's been a big miss. Put in a great shift here. And of course, they brought on a 15-year-old substitute. He's now the youngest player to ever played in the Prem. Nwaneri made his debut. So things are looking great for Arsenal. And I said they're going to be title contenders this season. We'll see how that holds out. I don't think they can win it. But, you know, Liverpool have dropped off. We don't know where they're at right now. And City, as I said, these games suddenly take on a whole new dimension for Arsenal. So we'll know in about 2-3 weeks whether Arsenal are real or not. But, yeah, I'm super happy. I'm super happy for Arsenal right now. Listen, their fans are insufferable. You doff your cap to people with the right football philosophy. Arteta has it. Arsenal have it. They're so stylish, so positive. Always a joy to watch. If you're a neutral football fan, you can turn on an Arsenal game and know you're going to be entertained. No drab shit there. Other than that, the other Prem stuff, there wasn't really a lot of other major talking points. Newcastle, bit of a disappointing draw for us against Bournemouth. You know, the kind of things where you really want to pick up a win. Isaac got his first goal via the way of a penalty spot. I've been a little bit disappointed with Newcastle, I guess, this season. But remember as well, you know, we have had a couple of, you know, nasty injuries. This was Guimaraes coming back for his first game. And we just have looked a bit ordinary. Like, we're good value for where we are in the table, but I wanted us to, you know, pick up a few more points. And I think Bournemouth at home, that's one of those games where you've got to say, listen, 3 points there. But at the end of the day, Bournemouth, again, I mean, like, we've been super unlucky as well. I mean, fantastic performance from Bournemouth defensively, their goalkeeper. You know, we were a little bit unlucky, but, you know, you gotta take those. But overall, Newcastle, yeah, we are what we are. You know, we're still not there yet for the world's richest club. We're biding our time. We'll wait and see. Obviously, as well, all the Geordies super sad about the Queen. So there you go. That was the Prem review. There wasn't really a lot to talk about because we only got sort of like half a fucking Prem anyway. So there it is.
He's the man to do the damage. Oh! As he looks for another headshot.